Zura lived on a small, quiet space colony called Novaterra. It was a beautiful place with bright stars and colorful planets nearby. The colony was peaceful, but for Zara, it felt empty. Every day was the same. She woke up, made breakfast, cleaned the house, and took care of her pet robot, Veep. Veep was a small, round robot with big eyes and a cheerful smile, but he couldn't talk like a real friend. Zora often looked out of her window, staring at the stars. She loved the view, but it reminded her of how alone she felt. She missed having someone to share her life with. The other people in the colony were busy with their own lives. They worked hard and rarely had time to chat. Zora longed for a friend or a partner who would fill her lonely heart. One bright morning, Zora decided to take a walk outside. She walked through the colorful gardens filled with flowers and plants from different worlds. The fresh air felt nice against her skin. As she walked, she saw a group of children playing. They were laughing and running, their joy echoing in the air. Zara smiled at them, but her smile faded when she remembered how alone she was. The children were too young to understand her sadness. After her walk, Zara returned home and made lunch. Veep rolled into the kitchen, his tiny wheels making soft sounds on the floor. "Veep, do you want to play a game?" she asked, trying to lift her spirits. Veep beeped happily and flashed his lights. They played a simple game where Zara had to guess colors and shapes. It was fun, but it didn't fill the emptiness inside her. Later that evening, as the sun set behind the distant planets, Zara sat by the window, looking at the stars. She thought about how beautiful they were, shining bright in the dark sky. But even the stars couldn't make her feel less lonely. She closed her eyes and imagined what it would be like to have someone to share her dreams with. Suddenly, she heard a soft beep from her radio. Curious, she turned it on. The radio crackled, and she thought it was just static. But then she heard a melody, sweet and beautiful, floating through the air. It was unlike anything she had ever heard before. Zara's heart raced with excitement. She grabbed a piece of paper and wrote down the notes. This could be a sign, she thought. Zara decided to respond to the signal. She picked up her radio and spoke into it. "Hello, is anyone out there? I am Zara from Novaterra. I'm here, alone in space. Please answer me." After she spoke, she waited anxiously. The silence felt heavy, but she hoped someone would hear her. Days passed, and Zara continued to listen for the melody. Each night, she looked at the stars and imagined someone out there, waiting for her reply. She dreamed of meeting someone special, someone who understood her feelings. One night, while she was lying in bed, she closed her eyes and imagined a life full of laughter, love, and companionship. She saw herself and her partner exploring distant planets, hand in hand, under the shining stars. They would dance in the gardens and share stories. The thought made her smile, but when she opened her eyes, the loneliness returned. Zara knew she needed to do something. She could not wait forever for a response. She began to write down her thoughts and dreams in a journal. She filled the pages with her hopes for love and connection. Writing made her feel better, as if she was sharing her heart with the universe. Then, one morning, as Zara was having breakfast, she heard the melody again. It was clearer this time, almost like it was calling to her. She rushed to her radio and turned it on. The melody danced in the air, filling her heart with hope. She grabbed a pencil and wrote down every note she heard. Zara took a deep breath and decided to send another message. "Hello, I hear your beautiful music. I am still here, waiting for a friend. Please reply." She felt a rush of excitement as she spoke into the radio, her heart pounding. As she waited for a response, Zora's imagination soared. She pictured a handsome astronaut coming to her colony, someone who would bring laughter and love into her life. She could almost see him in her mind. His kind eyes, warm smile, and adventurous spirit. Zara felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, the stars would bring her a friend. She returned to her garden, tending to the flowers, whispering her dreams to the universe. She believed that one day she would not be alone in space anymore. A strange signal. Zara woke up one sunny morning with excitement buzzing in her chest. Today felt different. She could almost feel the universe whispering secrets to her. After breakfast with BEP, she decided to check her radio. Maybe today would bring a response to her messages. She turned on the radio and listened closely. At first, there was only static, the usual white noise she had grown used to. But then suddenly, the static faded and a soft melody floated through the air. It was a beautiful sound, more enchanting than before. Zara's heart raced as she leaned closer to the radio. The melody was unlike anything she had ever heard. It felt alive, dancing with joy. Zara closed her eyes and let the music wash over her, filling her with hope. She imagined the person behind the music, someone kind and adventurous, just like the friend she longed for. After the melody faded, Zara felt inspired. Maybe the person who made this music can hear me, she thought. With renewed energy, she grabbed a piece of paper and began to write. I hear your beautiful music. Please tell me who you are. She quickly pressed the button on her radio and sent the message into the universe. Days passed, and each day was filled with the hope that someone would respond. Zara listened to her radio every morning and evening, but the only sound was the lonely static. Still, she didn't lose faith. She believed that her friend was out there, waiting just like her. One evening, as Zara was watering her garden, VEEP rolled up to her side. VEEP, do you think I will ever find someone? She asked, her voice full of longing. BEEP blinked his big eyes and made a comforting beep. It was nice to have someone listen, even if he couldn't talk back. That night, Zara sat by her window, gazing at the stars. She traced constellations with her finger, dreaming of adventures beyond the colony. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life again. Zara jumped up, her heart racing with excitement. Maybe this is it, she thought. She hurried to the radio and turned it on. This time, the melody was softer but still magical. It filled the room with warmth. Zara listened closely, hoping for words this time. As the song played, she noticed a faint voice blending with the music. Hello? Is anyone out there? The voice was gentle and full of warmth. Zara's heart soared. Yes, I'm here. She shouted into the radio, not caring if anyone thought she was silly. Who is this? The voice asked. Zara could barely believe it. Someone was responding. I'm Zara from Novaterra, she replied, her voice shaking with excitement. I heard your music, and it made me feel happy. I've been lonely out here. The voice laughed softly, a sound that made Zara smile. I'm Leo, traveling through space. I play music to find new friends. I felt your message and wanted to connect. Zara felt a rush of joy. You play music? That's amazing. It's beautiful. It made me feel less lonely. I'm glad, Leo replied. I've been alone too. Traveling alone in space can be lonely. But I believe in finding friends, even across the stars. Zara couldn't believe how easy it was to talk to Leo. They began to share stories, each revealing bits of their lives. Leo told Zara about the planets he had visited, the strange creatures he had seen, and the wonders of the universe. Zara listened with wide eyes, imagining every detail. Do you ever get scared out there? Zara asked. Sometimes, Leo admitted, but fear is just part of the adventure. What about you? What scares you? Zara hesitated. I'm scared of being alone forever. I want to find love and friendship. I don't want to stay in this empty place. Leo's voice softened. You are not alone, Zara. I'm here, and I want to be your friend. Zara felt warmth spread in her heart. Thank you, Leo. I want that too. As the night wore on, they talked and laughed, sharing their hopes and dreams. The stars outside seemed to twinkle in approval, shining brighter than ever. Zara felt a connection to Leo that she had never felt before. But as their conversation continued, Zara realized that their friendship was just beginning. She could feel excitement mixed with fear. What if they never met? What if this was just a dream? "I hope we can meet someday," Zara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I believe we will," Leo replied confidently. "The universe has a way of bringing people together." Zara smiled, her heart full of hope. For the first time in a long time, she felt alive. She had found a friend, a kindred spirit, even if he was far away. As they continued to talk, Zara knew this was just the start of an incredible adventure. The unexpected visitor. Zara woke up the next morning feeling different. Her heart was light, and a smile played on her lips. She had never felt so happy before. Last night, she had talked to Leo for hours, sharing stories and dreams. The thought of him made her feel warm inside. As she got ready for the day, Zara couldn't help but think about Leo. What if he really does come to visit? She wondered. The idea filled her with excitement and a little nervousness. She wanted to meet him, but was also scared. What if he didn't like her as much in person? After breakfast with Zara decided to spend the day preparing for a possible visit. She cleaned the house, making sure everything sparkled. She arranged flowers from her garden in a small vase, placing it on the table. "Just in case," she said to Bep, who beeped in agreement. The day passed slowly, but Zara was filled with hope. Every sound outside made her heart race. She listened for the roar of a spaceship, imagining it landing nearby. But as the sun began to set, she felt a wave of disappointment wash over her. "Maybe I was just dreaming," she thought. That evening, Zara sat by her window, watching the stars twinkle in the dark sky. She turned on her radio, hoping to hear Leo's voice again. As she listened, she felt a mix of hope and sadness. Would she ever meet him? Suddenly, a loud sound broke the quiet night. Zara jumped up, her heart pounding. She rushed to the window and looked outside. A spaceship was landing. The bright lights illuminated her garden, making the flowers glow. Zara's heart raced with excitement. Is it him? Is it Leo? She ran to the door, her hands shaking. Taking a deep breath, she opened it and stepped outside. The spaceship's door slowly opened and a ramp extended down. Zara's heart felt like it might burst. She could see a figure stepping down, silhouetted against the light. As the figure came closer, Zara's breath caught in her throat. It was Leo. He looked just as she had imagined, tall with kind eyes and a warm smile. He wore a spacesuit that sparkled under the stars. "Zara," he called, his voice full of joy. "Leo," she exclaimed, running toward him. They met halfway, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. They stood there, smiling at each other, feeling the connection that words could not describe. "I can't believe I'm finally here," Leo said, his eyes shining. "Your messages were so full of hope, I had to meet you." Zara felt her cheeks flush with happiness. "I can't believe you came. I've waited for this moment." Leo took a step back to admire her. "You are even more beautiful in person," he said, making her heart flutter. "Thank you," Zara replied, shyly looking down. "I've never had a visitor from space before." They walked back to her house, and Zara led Leo inside. The cozy atmosphere of her home wrapped around them like a warm blanket. She offered him a seat at the table, where the flowers she had arranged were waiting. "Wow, it smells amazing in here," Leo said, taking a deep breath. "You have a lovely home, Zara." "Thank you. I tried to make it nice for you," she replied, pouring 2 glasses of juice. They sat together, talking and laughing as if they had known each other forever. Zara shared stories about her life in the colony, the gardens she loved, and her dreams of exploring the universe. Leo listened with great interest, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He shared his own adventures, flying through asteroid fields, meeting strange creatures, and exploring colorful planets. As they talked, Zara felt a warmth growing between them. It was as if the loneliness she had felt for so long was melting away. She realized how easy it was to be herself around Leo. "Do you ever get scared while traveling in space?" she asked, curiosity shining in her eyes. "Sometimes," Leo admitted, "but I believe that every adventure is worth the risk. Just like meeting you." Zara's heart skipped a beat. "I'm so glad you came to meet me. I was scared I would always be alone." "You're never alone now, Zara," Leo said gently. "I promise to be your friend, no matter where the stars take us." Zara felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes. "Thank you, Leo. You have no idea how much this means to me." As the night went on, they shared more stories, laughter, and dreams. The stars outside twinkled brightly, as if they were cheering for Zara and Leo. After a while, they stepped outside to enjoy the fresh night air. They stood together in the garden, gazing up at the stars. Zara felt a sense of belonging she had never felt before. "Look at those stars," Leo said, pointing. "Each one is like a dream waiting to be explored." Zara smiled, feeling grateful for the unexpected visitor who had changed her life. She knew this was just the beginning of a beautiful adventure. With Leo by her side, she felt ready to face anything. The universe was vast and full of possibilities, and together, they would explore it all. Exploring together. The next morning, Zara woke up feeling excited. Today was going to be special. Leo was in her home, and they had so many adventures planned. She quickly got dressed and made breakfast for them both. The smell of pancakes filled the air, and she smiled as she flipped them on the griddle. "Good morning, sleepyhead," Zara said cheerfully when she saw Leo come into the kitchen. He yawned and stretched, his smile wide and bright. "Good morning, Zara. It smells amazing," he replied, sitting down at the table. They shared a delicious breakfast, talking and laughing like old friends. Leo loved the pancakes, and Zara felt happy to see him enjoy her cooking. After breakfast, they both looked at each other with excitement. "Ready for our first adventure?" Leo asked, his eyes shining. "Yes. Where are we going?" Zara replied eagerly. "I want to show you the hidden waterfall nearby. It's a secret place not many people know about," Leo said, standing up and stretching his arms. Zara's heart raced with joy. She had always wanted to explore beyond her garden, but she never had the chance. "Let's go," she said, grabbing her jacket. They stepped outside, and the sun shone brightly, warming their faces. Zara felt a rush of energy as they walked hand in hand through the colony. The path was filled with colorful flowers and tall green trees. Beep followed them closely, rolling along with his tiny wheels. "Do you see that hill over there?" Leo pointed to a small hill in the distance. "We need to climb that to find the waterfall." Zara nodded, feeling a bit nervous but excited at the same time. "Let's do it." They made their way to the hill, climbing higher with each step. The view from the top was breathtaking. Zara could see the entire colony below, with its sparkling buildings and gardens. The sky was a beautiful shade of blue, and the sun shone brightly above them. "Wow, this is amazing," Zara exclaimed, looking around in awe. "Just wait until you see the waterfall," Leo said, smiling. "It's even better." They continued their journey down the other side of the hill, and soon the sound of rushing water filled the air. Zara felt a thrill of excitement as they got closer. The trees parted to reveal a stunning waterfall, cascading down rocks into a crystal-clear pool. "It's beautiful," Zara gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. Leo laughed and nodded. "Told you. Let's get closer." They walked to the edge of the pool, where the water sparkled in the sunlight. Zara felt the cool mist on her face and laughed with joy. Leo splashed some water on her, and she squealed, playfully splashing back. They both laughed, their voices echoing in the peaceful surroundings. "Let's take a closer look," Leo suggested, stepping carefully over the rocks. Zara followed him, her heart racing with excitement. As they explored the area, they found colorful stones and tiny flowers growing near the water. Leo picked up a smooth blue stone and handed it to Zora. "Here, a gift from the waterfall." Zara took the stone and smiled. "Thank you, Leo. I will keep it forever." They spent hours exploring the waterfall, laughing and playing. Zara felt as if she had entered a magical world where everything was possible. For the first time, she felt free and alive. With Leo by her side, she was ready to face anything. After a while, they sat on a rock, enjoying the beauty around them. The sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Zara looked at Leo, her heart full of happiness. "I never knew this place existed. Thank you for bringing me here." "I'm glad you like it," Leo replied, his eyes sparkling. "There are so many more places to explore together." Zara felt her heart flutter at the thought. "What else do you want to show me?" "Next, I want to take you to the crystal caves," Leo said, leaning closer. "They are full of glowing crystals that light up like stars." "Wow, that sounds amazing. I can't wait," Zora exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. As they prepared to leave, Leo picked up a small flower and tucked it behind Zora's ear. "You look beautiful with this flower," he said softly. Zora blushed, feeling a warmth in her cheeks. "Thank you, Leo. You're so sweet." They made their way back to the colony, hand in hand, feeling happy and carefree. The sun was setting, and the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky. Zora looked up and smiled, feeling grateful for this wonderful day. When they reached her home, they sat outside for a while, gazing at the stars. "I never want this day to end," Zora whispered. "Neither do I," Leo replied, looking at her with kindness in his eyes. "This is just the beginning of our adventures together." Zara nodded, her heart racing with excitement. She had found a friend in Leo, someone who made her feel alive and cherished. With him, she knew that her life would never be lonely again. Together, they would explore the universe, hand in hand, chasing dreams and creating beautiful memories. The unexpected war. Zara and Leo were enjoying their time together, exploring the wonders of the colony and dreaming of new adventures. Every day felt like a treasure, and they laughed and shared stories under the stars. But one morning, everything changed. Zara woke up to a loud noise outside. It sounded like thunder, but it was not the weather. She jumped out of bed and rushed to the window. What she saw made her heart race. Spaceships filled the sky, flying low over the colony. They were not friendly-looking ships. They had dark colors and sharp edges. "Leo, wake up," Zara shouted, running to his room. She knocked on the door, her voice shaking with fear. Leo opened the door, his face filled with confusion. "What's wrong, Zara?" "Look outside," she urged, pulling him to the window. They both stared in shock as the ships flew overhead, leaving trails of smoke behind them. "Who are they?" Leo asked, his voice serious. "I don't know, but we have to warn the others," Zara said, panic rising in her chest. They quickly got dressed and ran outside. The colony was in chaos. People were running everywhere, shouting and looking for shelter. Zara felt a cold chill in her stomach. What is happening? She wondered. "We need to find the leader of the colony," Leo said, grabbing Zora's hand. "Maybe they know what to do." They pushed through the crowd, trying to reach the main building where the leader, a wise woman named Mira, was usually found. When they arrived, they found her standing outside, speaking to a group of worried citizens. "Mira," Zora called, waving her arms. "What's going on?" Mira turned to them, her expression serious. "Zara, Leo, thank you for coming. We are under attack. These ships belong to the Zarkans, a fierce race from another planet. They want our resources and will stop at nothing to get them." Zara felt her heart sink. "What can we do?" Mira took a deep breath. "We must prepare to defend our home. Gather as many people as you can. We need to create a plan." Leo nodded, determination in his eyes. "Let's go, Zara. We can help." They split up, running through the colony to gather people. Zara's heart raced with fear and excitement. She couldn't believe this was happening. They had to protect their home and everyone they loved. As they gathered people, Zara could see the fear in their eyes, but she also saw hope. "We can do this together," she shouted, trying to lift their spirits. "We are strong." After gathering as many people as they could, Zara and Leo returned to Mira. The group had formed a circle around her, waiting for instructions. "Listen closely," Mira said, her voice steady. "We must create barriers around the colony. We will use whatever we have, rocks, trees, anything to protect ourselves. We must be ready to fight back." Zara felt a surge of courage. "What can we do?" she asked. "You two will help organize the people," Mira said. "We need to make sure everyone has a job. Keep spirits high and work together." "Let's do this," Leo shouted, raising his fist in the air. The group cheered, and Zara felt hope rising in her heart. They quickly began to work. Zara and Leo moved through the crowd, giving instructions and encouraging people. "Grab whatever you can find," Zara called, pointing to some bold equipment nearby. "We can use this to build a barricade." Leo helped carry large rocks, while Zara organized the people to create a line. Everyone worked together, showing incredible strength and unity. The sound of spaceships roared overhead, but they didn't let fear stop them. After hours of hard work, they finally built a strong barricade around the colony. Zara stepped back to admire their work. It wasn't perfect, but it was sturdy. She could see everyone's determination shining in their eyes. As they finished, the sky grew darker, and the rumble of the Zarkan ships grew louder. Zara could see them in the distance, flying closer and closer. Her heart raced with fear. "Get ready," Mira shouted, raising her voice above the noise. "We must stand together and protect our home." Zara felt a mix of fear and bravery. She looked at Leo, who stood beside her, his face full of determination. "We can do this," he said quietly, squeezing her hand. Just then, the first Zarkan ship landed, and the ground shook. Zara's heart pounded in her chest. She could see the Zarkan soldiers coming out, their faces fierce and ready for battle. "Hold your ground," Mira shouted, standing tall. The colony people formed a line behind the barricade, ready to defend their home. Zara took a deep breath, feeling a fire of courage inside her. They had worked so hard to prepare for this moment. She knew they had to fight for their lives, for their dreams, and for each other. Together, Zara shouted, raising her voice to rally the group. "We will not back down." As the Zarkan soldiers approached, the people of the colony stood firm, united. They were scared but ready to protect what was theirs. This was not just a battle, it was a fight for their future. Facing the colony, the ground shook as Zara and the colony's people stood firm behind their barricade. The Zarkan soldiers marched closer, their dark uniforms glinting in the fading light. Zara's heart raced as she exchanged worried glances with Leo. They had prepared for this moment, but nothing could prepare them for the fear that gripped her heart. "Stay strong," Mira shouted, her voice echoing above the noise. "We will fight for our home. We will protect our loved ones." Zara looked around at her friends and neighbors. She saw the determination in their eyes, the courage shining through their fear. They were ready to face this threat together. The first Zarkan soldier stepped forward, towering over them. He raised his weapon, pointing it at the barricade. Zara held her breath, her heart pounding in her chest. She could feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy. "Zarkans," the soldier shouted, his voice booming. "You cannot stop us. We will take this colony and all your resources. Surrender now, and you may live." Zara felt anger rise within her. "Never." She yelled back, surprising herself with her courage. "We will not give up our home." The Zarkan soldier laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the quiet night. "Foolish humans. You think you can defeat us. We are stronger and more powerful than you can imagine. Leo stepped forward beside Zora, his fists clenched. We may be outnumbered, but we are not weak. We will fight for each other and our home. The Zarkan soldier sneered but raised his hand, signaling his troops to prepare for battle. Zora's heart raced. She could see the Zarkans getting ready, but the colony's people stood tall, united and unafraid. Remember, we fight together. Mira called out, her voice filled with strength. We are a community, and we will protect what is ours. As the Zarkans charged forward, Zora took a deep breath and grabbed a nearby rock. She felt a rush of adrenaline, her body ready for action. Here they come, she shouted, her heart pounding. The two sides clashed with a loud roar. Zora threw her rock, hitting the Zarkan soldier in the leg. He stumbled, surprised by the small human's bravery. Zora felt a thrill of courage as she joined Leo and others in defending their home. Leo fought beside her, dodging and weaving, his movements quick and agile. Together, they threw stones and other objects at the advancing Zarkans. The colony's people shouted words of encouragement, their voices blending together in a powerful chorus. Keep fighting. We are strong. Zora's heart swelled with pride as she fought alongside her friends and neighbors. They were all scared, but they were fighting for something bigger than themselves. They were fighting for their future, for their dreams, and for each other. The battle raged on, chaos surrounding them. Zora felt the heat of the moment, the rush of adrenaline pushing her forward. She ducked and dodged, her focus sharp. The Zarkans were strong, but the spirit of the colony was stronger. As the fighting continued, Zora noticed a group of Zarkan soldiers trying to flank them from the side. Leo, over there, she shouted, pointing. We need to stop them. Let's go, Leo replied, determination in his eyes. They quickly moved to block the path of the Zarkans, working together to push them back. With every push and shove, Zora felt more empowered. She wasn't just a lonely housewife anymore. She was a fighter, a protector of her home. She could see the fear in the Zarkan soldiers' eyes, and it made her stronger. Push them back, Zora shouted, rallying her friends. We can do this. The colony's people pushed forward with renewed strength, fighting with all their might. They moved as one, united in their cause. The Zarkan soldiers, surprised by their bravery, began to falter. As the battle raged on, Zora felt the tide begin to turn. The Zarkan soldiers were not used to facing such fierce resistance. The colony's people fought with everything they had, and slowly they began to push the invaders back. We're winning, Leo shouted, his voice filled with excitement. Don't give up. Zora could feel hope rising in her heart. They were fighting for their home, for each other, and they were doing it together. The Zarkans were strong, but they had underestimated the spirit of the colony. Suddenly, a loud explosion rang out, shaking the ground. Zora turned to see one of the Zarkan ships in flames. The people cheered, their voices rising in triumph. They were fighting for their future, and it seemed they were starting to win. As the last of the Zarkan soldiers retreated, Zora and Leo stood tall, breathing heavily but filled with pride. The colony was safe for now, and they had fought together as a family. Look what we did, Zora exclaimed, tears of joy in her eyes. We defended our home. Yes, we did, Leo said, smiling brightly. They shared a moment of victory, knowing that they had faced the darkness and come out stronger. As the dust settled, Zora realized that this battle was just the beginning. The colony had shown incredible strength and unity, and they would continue to fight for their future. Together, they could face anything that came their way. A new life together. After the fierce battle, the colony slowly began to heal. The sun rose bright and warm, shining over the land. Zora and Leo walked through the colony, taking in the changes around them. Though there were still signs of the fight, the spirit of the people was strong. They had faced the Zarkans together and emerged victorious. As they strolled, Zora noticed groups of people working together. Some were rebuilding homes, while others were cleaning up debris. Everyone was helping, and the sense of community felt stronger than ever. "We did it," Zara said, looking at Leo with pride. "We really defended our home." "Yes, we did," Leo replied, grinning. "I never knew how strong we all were until now." They walked to the main square, where Mira stood speaking to a crowd. "Thank you all for your bravery," she called out. "Together, we have protected our colony. We are a family, and together, we will rebuild and thrive." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Zara felt a wave of happiness wash over her. She realized that this fight had changed them all. They were no longer just neighbors. They were friends and allies, bound together by a shared experience. "Zara." Mira spotted her and Leo in the crowd. "Come here." They quickly made their way to Mira, who looked relieved and proud. "I'm so glad to see you both safe. Your courage during the battle inspired everyone." "Thank you, Mira," Zara said, her heart swelling with pride. "We just did what we had to do. Now we have to think about the future," Mira continued. "We need to rebuild and make our colony even better than before." Zara felt excitement bubbling inside her. "What can we do to help?" Mira smiled. "I want you both to lead a group focused on creating a new community center, a place where everyone can gather, share stories, and grow together." Leo's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing." "Yes," Zara agreed. "A place for everyone to connect and learn." Mira nodded. "It will be a space for creativity and support. After all we've been through, we need a place where we can come together and heal." The three of them began to brainstorm ideas for the community center. They talked about classrooms for children, art spaces for creativity, and areas for adults to share their skills and experiences. Zara felt a rush of energy. This was a chance to build something beautiful and lasting. As they made plans, Zara couldn't help but think of the future. She had found a friend in Leo, and now they were working together to create a brighter world. "This is just the beginning," she thought. "We can make our colony stronger and more united." Over the next few weeks, the colony buzzed with activity. People came together to clear the land for the new community center. Zara and Leo led the charge, organizing everyone and encouraging them to share their talents. Zara saw how each person contributed in their own way. Some were good at building, while others had great ideas for programs. The community came alive with excitement and hope, and Zara felt proud to be a part of it. One day, as they were working, Leo turned to Zara with a serious expression. "I want to talk to you about something important," he said. Zara's heart skipped a beat. "What is it?" "I've realized something since we fought together," Leo began, looking deep into her eyes. "I care about you more than just as a friend. You make me feel alive, and I want to share my life with you." Zara's cheeks flushed with warmth. "I feel the same way, Leo. You've changed my life in so many ways. I never want to be without you." Leo smiled, his eyes sparkling. "Then let's promise to always be there for each other, no matter what happens. Together, we can face anything." Zara nodded, feeling a surge of love for him. "I promise, Leo. Together, we can build a beautiful life." With their hearts full of hope, they continued to work on the community center. The colony was coming together, and they could feel the excitement building. They painted walls with bright colors and filled the rooms with art and creativity. Finally, the day came for the grand opening of the community center. Zara and Leo stood side by side, looking at the finished building. It was a beautiful space filled with laughter, art, and love. People gathered around, ready to celebrate. Mira stepped up to speak. "Today, we open our new community center, a place of joy and togetherness. We built this with our hearts, our hands, and our courage. Let this be a symbol of our strength and unity." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Zara felt tears of joy in her eyes. She looked at Leo, and he smiled back at her. They had come so far together, and now they were ready to embrace a new life. As the sun set, the community center glowed with warmth and happiness. Zara and Leo danced together, surrounded by friends and family. They were no longer alone. They had each other and a bright future ahead. With laughter and love, they celebrated not just the opening of a building, but the beginning of a new life together. Zara felt grateful for everything. The fight, the friends, and especially Leo. Together, they would face whatever came next, united as one.